Is there anything that you can show me on the guitar right now? Have you got it? Maybe got it set up?
When I first got the email saying that you wanted to learn a thing that a new guitar player should
Yeah.
learn, I was going to show you my thing that I do before I ever pick up the guitar, which is stretch. Has anyone talked to you about stretching?
No, so that would be perfect.
Okay, good. This is important. I'm glad we're doing this because this is something I feel so strongly about because I injured myself as a young guitar player playing a lot and not stretching properly. So this is something I try. I'm like this weird like champion of like doing these stretches before you play. So I'm glad I get to pass that on to you. So
Okay.
what we can do it together if you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're both going to back up from our screen a little bit. Can you hear me if I'm here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what you're going to do is take your fret hand, which for me is my left hand, and
Right hand, that one. Yeah.
so stick it straight out. And mentally, what you want to be thinking about is pushing your shoulder forward and then pulling your fingers back. So don't actually do this, but you're going to think about this and that. So push your shoulder forward, pull your fingers back,
Okay.
and then rotate your hand forward, backwards.
It's like yoga, isn't it?
It is very much. But do you feel a stretch all the way here?
Yeah, I do.
So most people just stretch like this and they think that's enough of a stretch. So you want to stretch your whole arm there. So then the next bit, it's got a couple of parts. Take the same hand, your fret hand, put it straight out to, let me move over. Put it straight out to the side. And the same thing, push your shoulder out, pull your fingers back. Rotate your hand clockwise, and you guys say anti-clockwise, right? We say counterclockwise.
Yeah, we do say anti. Is that what you say in America then? Is counter?
Counterclockwise.
Oh, how funny. I love that.
And it's in the UK. Okay, so then, so same hand, pushing out, pulling your fingers back, and then take your head and turn your head as far away as you can.
Oh, that feels good.
Rotate your wrist clockwise and anti-clockwise. And then the last one is take your head, same thing, pushing your shoulder out, pulling your fingers back, and then tilt your head all the way to your shoulder, like that. Now rotate your wrist clockwise, anti-clockwise.
This is so not what I was expecting.
Now, if you guys better be doing this with us at home. Now, take your two hands, put them in front of your face, shake them out. Do you feel a difference?
I do, yes.
So this one feels like more activated, more ready to play.
This one's heavier, yeah.
Exactly. So that sort of like, it wakes your fingers up, it wakes your muscles up, wakes your joints up, sort of like gets them ready. It's like going for a jog, before hitting the weights in the gym or something. It just sort of like primes your muscles and gets them ready to work.
That's fantastic. So what kind of injury did you have then?
I have what's called a repetitive stress injury. And by the way, if you feel uneven, you can do the other side too. You don't.
Oh, we're talking. We can do that.
If you do a lot of fast picking, it's really good to do your picking hand too. So if you only have time for one hand, do your front hand. But if you have time to do both hands, do your picking hand as well. And this is also really good for anybody that spends a lot of time, like me, texting.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
doing emails, really good for that too. And what I had is called a repetitive stress injury, which basically is an injury that you get from doing the same motion too many times. Mm-hmm. And it's often confused for carpal tunnel, and it's not the same thing as carpal tunnel. Because carpal tunnel, the exercise they tell you to do is this with the ball, and that's the worst thing you can do for repetitive stress injury because it's a repetitive motion once again. So those were the exercises that I was given for the particular injury that I had, and it has been an absolute game changer ever since. So like I'm on this crusade to teach everybody these.
Is that on your course?
I think. Yeah. It should be.
Yeah, put it on there now. So what hand was it that you had the injury in then?
My fret hand.
Your fret hand as well. It's funny because I got tennis elbow recently and I was wondering if it was from playing the guitar. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped for a while and was resting. And actually it's starting to get a bit better again, but it's on my pick hand. So
try the stretch, because it definitely can't hurt. It can only help. It might not help as much, but it definitely can't hurt. I have all the tricks too. If there's ever anything that hurts in your guitar playing hands, I have every single trick that there is. I mean, from the simplest thing like hot and cold therapy, like where I would be before a show, to I would get a bowl of hot water, like boiling water, and a bowl of ice water, and put your hands from one to the other, like hot until you can't stand it anymore, and then cold until you can't stand it anymore, to get the circulation flowing, all the way to the extreme stuff of like I've had cortisone shots before tour to relax the muscles to be enough to be able to play. So any of the hand pain stuff, I can write the book.
oh my God, that's incredible.
Just do the stretch.
Yeah, the stretch is really important. One thing I noticed about your guitar, which is beautiful, by the way, this is your signature one, isn't it? It's very thin. The body is really thin, which I think is fantastic. Again, talking about injuries and stuff like that. Look at that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Was that one of the things that because it's not normal that you get guitars that thin, is it? Is that kind of one of the spec that you wanted it to be really thin like that?
Well, the Ibanez S series, which is what this body is this thin.
Okay.
But that's one of the things I loved about it. Some of, I was playing Ibanez RGs before switching over to the S series, and the S is so thin, so easy on your shoulder. If you're on stage for a long time, running around, jumping off things, it's constantly slamming into your shoulder. So like for me, having something, it weighs 6.5 pounds, like it's so light. And if you look at the balance, like I'm not even actually holding it, I'm just balancing it right at the neck joint. And you can see like it's got a perfect balance between the body and the neck of this guitar. So anytime you're playing, it's never going to drop one way or the other. It's always just going to stay right where you put it, just in its nice equilibrium. And I love that about this guitar. And it kind of looks like me, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Black and blonde. I love it. But I mean, you compare that to something like a Les Paul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nuts.
Is it in there? Josh has got his Les Paul around here somewhere, and it's like, it is just astronomically different. Like just the weight holding them in your two hands is like, it's a big difference.
I can
Not
imagine.
Guitar, it's just very different.
Yeah. Well, congratulations with that, because I mean, it is a wonderful looking guitar, and obviously sounding as well, because you sound pretty good when you're playing it. So.
Magical guitar. I do love it. And then I've got the newer model actually here next to me. I've been recording my record with this one, which is the Jiva X. This is the Japanese made one.
Okay. How come you went for that one for the album?
I'm using both. They're in different tunings. So my regular Jiva, the original one that I just showed you, is in standard tuning. So that's the one, I use that for like a lot of events. I just use it to play the national anthem at a WWE event. So I keep that one in standard tuning, sort of like ready to go. And then this one is in D standard. The album's pretty heavy. So this is sort of like my heavier tone, chuggier guitar.
Yeah. And something that I read about you was that you don't play with pedals.
I play with effects, but not pedals. I'm just not really a compact pedal person. I use a lot of effects, but I'm not a pedal board person. Yeah.
Is that normal? Because I've not gone into the whole pedal world yet. I'm kind of desperate to get there, but is that normal to not have pedals?
I think it's more normal now than it used to be. Okay. I have personally always been a multi-effects pedal type of person. My very first pedal was, one pedal that did a bunch of different things. And then about 12 years ago or so, 12, 13 years ago, I got into rack mount effects. So I would always have a rack mount effects unit and a MIDI switcher. So instead of, my worst thing, and the thing I hate about having a board full of pedals is it, it's coming up to the solo, you're about to get up and do your Guitar Hero moment in the middle of the stage, and all you can think about is, okay, solo's coming up, so I have to turn the boost on, the reverb on, the delay on, the compressor off, and then like hit the right combination of pedals, and then still stand there and look cool, like, and play the right thing about. It's just like, I don't like it. It's too much. I want to hit one thing and have all the things I don't want turn off and all the things I do want turn on, and just be able to relax and hit my solo and flip my hair and be done with it. And so priorities.
I love it. Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, I've always gone for the multi-effects unit. When I'm playing with Alice, I use well, actually now a lot of us are using Kempers. A lot of the Alice show will use a Kemper and a floorboard.
Yeah.
Or I'll use a Marshall JVM 410H and just use my Rocktron Prophecy for the effects section. And then on my solo tours, I don't even take an amp. I just use a Boss GT1000 direct into front of house and no cab at all on stage. And it sounds huge. So I think, yeah, it sounds massive. I think people don't realize what kind of tone you can get with no amp in this incredible modern day and age.
Well, that's a lot easier as well if you don't have to take an amp with you.
Oh yeah, my guys love it. It's the easiest load-in in the world. Like, it's actually right here next to me. Look, this is what I bring to a show. It's still plugged in.
No way.
This and this, and I do my whole show, and a wireless, which is, tiny, the size of this mic. This is my whole touring rig. I can carry my entire show with me on my back on the plane, and it's so easy.
I mean, why not if you can, right?
I mean, the thing is, especially I go back to my solo touring, on the grand scheme of things, I'm a small artist. We don't have a huge crew. We don't have a huge budget. With Alice, we've got multiple semi trucks of equipment. With my solo tour, we're in basically a school bus with beds on it and a tiny trailer. And, whatever we want to bring, we carry. We ship there and we carry on our bags in and out of the venue every time. So why not make it the easiest that we possibly can on ourselves without sacrificing sound? If it didn't sound good, I wouldn't do it. But since it sounds so amazing, why not?
Exactly. I love the juxtaposition of the two there, like when you're on tour with Alice and then when you're doing it yourself. It must keep your feet firmly on the ground.
It definitely does. There's no room for ego in this business, especially when you're getting yourself, I definitely go from a really easy touring lifestyle, playing with Alice. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I don't do meet and greet like he does. I don't do all that press, like kind of that long day, like we were describing earlier. That's Alice's day on the Alice tour. And so, I don't have to worry about where the band is going to sleep. I don't have to worry about paying for, the weekly bus rental or everybody's weekly salaries or this, that, and the other thing. On my solo tour, like all of that really falls on me and Josh to coordinate all of these things, how long the drive is to the next city, where the band is going to sleep that night, if we're going to, get one room for everybody to shower in, if we're going to get individual rooms, how many people are showing up for meet and greet, where they're checking in, what, where we're going to take the pictures, if we're going to have nice lighting in there to take the pictures. The minutiae of being on, putting your own thing together is a lot. And if I went into it with that sort of big ego of like, oh, I'm the artist, I don't have to do any of this stuff or deal with any of this stuff, it just wouldn't get done. Yeah. And so I think it's important to have your feet firmly on the ground and realize, hey, you want to make something happen, you want to do it right, you have to be willing to put the work in and do it right and do it yourself.
Good for you. Good for you.
I like it too. I like being in charge of stuff. It's fun. I don't like all the responsibility, but I like making the decisions.
You like being the boss lady, yeah.
I say we're going to stop at the Walmart. We stop at the Walmart.
So how does that beauty make you feel? How do you feel when you hold a guitar?
Like any guitar or my guitar?
I guess any guitar.
Different guitars bring different things out of me in particular. I don't know if it's the same for everybody. I think it is because I just put a post about this on my Instagram and everybody seemed to agree. like when I played the original Jiva, the first one I showed you, the black and blonde one, and that is Jiva 1, like that's the first prototype that was ever made. And it really brings me to this place of authenticity of like, you know, this is my dream guitar. I was with Ibanez for 10 years before I got to design this thing. And like it pulls my true authentic self out of me. And if I don't know what to play, I grab that guitar and the guitar will kind of guide me, you know, without getting too out there. Like it will kind of guide me down the path. It's not going to play anything for me, but it will sort of guide me down to where I need to be. And then I pick up this one, this Japanese shred machine over here. And if I just want to fly and go fast, like that guitar, everybody that picks up the Jiva X, the black one, tries to shred on it, even if they're not a guitar player. People that don't play guitar at all pick up this guitar. They're like, oh yeah, you know, this guitar is cool. It's like, and I love that because it just feels fast. Like, you know, it's like giving someone the keys to your Ferrari. Yeah, go drive it on the Autobahn, drive it as fast as you want. Like, don't crash it. So like, that's what that guitar pulls out of me. So I think it's a matter of just sort of feeling out the vibe of that guitar and seeing if it brings something different out of you in your own playing.
Wonderful. Well, Nita, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for all the advice. And again, the 50% discount, which is incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask you a question? I'm just so curious.
Yes.
What do you feel when you pick up a guitar?
I feel like I can rule.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like it gives me a confidence. It's just, and sometimes, you know, when you're playing it, it's like meditation as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I can just sit, even if it's like just doing 2 chords or just doing a bit of picking, going over the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You just kind of lose yourself, and then you look up and you're like, oh, I've been doing this for half an hour. Wow, where did the time go?
Oh yeah, you get in a flow state for sure. I just read a great book called Limitless by Jim Quick, and he talks about getting into a flow state when you're working. And he describes exactly what you just said, that if you're truly in a state of flow, that you'll look up and not realize where the time went, instead of going like, okay, I need to practice for 30 minutes. God, it's only been 8 minutes. You know? So if you can truly get yourself into that sort of almost meditative state, then that's what you're going for as an artist, or, you know, whether you're a writer or a musician or an architect or a race car driver, or, you know, whatever it is, you want to get yourself into that state of flow where you're not distracted, you're not thinking about other things, you're just in that meditative state. So if you have only been playing for a year and you're able to get yourself there, I think you're doing really well. I haven't heard you play, but I think you must be really on the right track. So nice job.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm just loving it. Like, although I said I'm having this bit of a low period at the moment, it has been the most wonderful journey I think I've ever been on, and has kept me sane the last 12 months for sure.
Yes, that definitely has been the thing. And that was a big part of why I released the course. It was just almost exactly a year ago, right when the lockdown started, that we released it. And I really rushed to get it finished because it wasn't finished. And I was like, all right, we need to do this now because people need something to do. And it was such a great feeling to hear people say just what you said, that like, I needed something to keep me sane during the quarantine. And I picked playing guitar, and I got to be like a small part of that. So I love that you did that, and you went on that journey as well, because there is something powerful, I mean, about anybody with a guitar, but especially of a woman with a guitar, like a beautiful woman like yourself with a cool guitar. Like, that's cool. We need more. So thank you.
We do. I tell you what's been amazing for me as well is the amount of women, which you must get it a lot, that have reached out to me and said, thank you for going public with like your guitar journey. It's inspired me to pick up the guitar. And I mean, I'm crap at playing, so you must get that a lot.
It's the best feeling in the whole world. It's the best. It's the reason why I keep doing this, even though I don't think I would stop either way. Like, the big driving motivator for me is that exact conversation, hearing somebody say, I brought my kids to see Alice Cooper and now they want a guitar for Christmas. You know, my daughter wants a guitar for her birthday because she saw you play. Like, that's why I do it. I mean, I do it because I love it and I would never stop doing it for anything. But hearing that really is my driving force to go, okay, I need to keep doing this. I need to keep raising the profile of females in guitar and people in guitar in general. Like, guitar, it has been disappearing for a while and now it's coming back. You know, these huge pop artists have incredible guitar players performing with them, and like, we all need to get guitar back in the forefront where it belongs. You know, Michael Jackson had Jennifer Batten, now Pink has Justin Derrico, Nuno Betancourt with Rihanna, you know, Laurie Basilio was just with Doja Cat at the MTV Awards. You know, we need to keep this instrument moving forward. And then, of course, Orianthi with Michael Jackson. Like, there's been so many great examples. And I think we just need to keep pressing on and not stop and keep getting guitars in young musicians' hands, little boys, little girls, whoever, little baby Yodas, like whoever, just keep pressing on and you know, bringing the love of this instrument that we all love so much, pushing it forward to the next generation.
Well said. Yes.
I get passionate about this stuff.
Yes. What a wonderful way to end the interview. That's a great way to end it. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. And hopefully we get to meet in person soon.
It's going to happen. Touring's coming back. I have faith. It's going to happen this year.